Hello, everybody. It's 2022. We did it. I recorded this video 3 years ago, and I had it on a timer to release. Actually, that wouldn't make sense because my sign back there's been kind of new. Can't even really troll you with that anymore. I'm going to be doing a book review today, but before that, I thought I'd catch you guys up on some stuff that's been going on. So today, like previously, they had that big 250-mile tornado or whatever that went through Kentucky and Missouri and stuff, and today is kind of a similar situation. Big storm set up going through. I think around my area there were some tornado warnings and stuff. My yard is kind of flooded. My pond's overflowing. Thought there was talk of hail and stuff going on, so I don't know. Not really too worried about it. I did go to my mom and dad's house for Christmas. And the deal was with the drone that I bought, which is right over there. I got to fly it because my mom has like an iPhone 8 Plus or something. And my phone is a Motorola phone, and those don't work at all with the app that you used to fly the drone. But I was really happy with the controls and everything. It was really well made. And it was really awesome. I'll show you guys some footage here coming up when I get time to pull all that footage. It's like 4K video, so I have to run it through all these filters and shit. But I ended up doing this test with it where me and my dad were talking about what's the best way to fly it for a mile in case it loses connection, because when I got it over past my parents' yard for about a quarter of a mile, it started dropping down to 3 bars instead of 4 or 5 bars. So I was thinking the farther away I got, it would keep dropping and dropping. And it was kind of the case. So I went and drove a mile away to this church, and I flew it back to my parents' house, a mile. And I landed it in their yard, which is not really... You're supposed to land it wherever you take off from. There's all these warnings about don't fly your drone off the top of a skyscraper or a building, because wherever you start from is where it thinks sea level is, or the ground level is. So when I drove to this church, I guess it was maybe 20 feet higher in an elevation than my parents' house, because when I got to my mom and dad's house, I got to the roof level and it wouldn't go down any farther. And then when you get you keep pushing down on it, it just goes into automatic landing mode, and it tried to land even though it was still as high as the roof. And I guess it must have hit their little fence and flipped over upside down, which is fine. It didn't really damage it or anything, just tiny little chips on the propellers, which those are easy to replace, and it's not even really hurt or anything. But it was really interesting, because I think if you kept it up in the air, it would have maintained the connection longer, because once it got to my mom and dad's house, it was down to maybe 2 bars or 1 bar of connection, and it almost couldn't even reach it anymore. So they say you can fly it 2.5 miles or something away, but that's under optimal conditions, I guess. I don't know if it uses your phone carrier to communicate with the controller, or the controller sends a signal to the drone, or the drone sends a signal to the controller, or how that all works. You might not even need a phone carrier, like a Verizon or an AT&T or whatever plan, to use it, but I don't know. So eventually I'm going to work on getting a new phone so I can actually fly the thing. And ended up getting that's what I bought myself for Christmas. And my mom and dad got me a Ninja Foodie XL air fryer grill. So that's something. It's still in the box, haven't taken it out yet. But I figure we can probably do some pro cookings on that. That'd be good to cook mushrooms and stuff in. Because that last mushroom, me and my friend, I don't know if you guys saw this, I think I posted it on Facebook, maybe did a live stream about it. I found a lion's mane mushroom, and it got too greasy. It absorbed all the grease. So if you had an air fryer, that would be optimal for something like that. Also, today the Harry Potter reunion happened. Oh, Betty White died, I guess, yesterday or something. That's really bad. She's 99 though. I mean, it's probably time anyway. Is Dick Clark still alive? Couldn't we have sacrificed Dick Clark instead of Betty White? Get them both out of here. Fuck them. Get them out of here. What do we need these old people for? But I'm sure they'll say that about me when I'm old. But yeah, Dying Light 2 is supposed to be coming out this month. and I think Stranger Things should be coming out, I think in January, February, sometime this year, early. So that's pretty cool. So I've got like 3 books over there that I've already read, and a couple more that I'm about done reading, and one I started reading I didn't like it. So I've got a lot of book reports I need to do. I'm really behind on my book review videos, but I thought I'd already made a video about Stephen King's It, but apparently I did not. I looked through my list. I made a lot of Stephen King videos about some of his other books, but I didn't do It. This is a really thick version. They say this is like one of his best books, along with The Stand, the Dark Tower series, Pet Sematary. What's the other one? Shining. What's the other one everybody says is like his masterpiece? It's one I just recently read. I don't know. Can't remember. Anyway. It's a book with layers. Like it's a general like Stephen King style monster story. First of all, if you just watch the movie, don't read the book, then that's probably what you're going to get out of it. But on top of that, you've also got the connection to the Dark Tower stuff. Like if you read the book, there's the whole thing about the deadlights, and the monster It has these thing called deadlights. And it goes into the backstory. Like there's this part where the kids, they all get into this like Indian teepee kind of a thing, and they fill it with smoke, and this guy has like a, what do you call it when you go on a fever dream, kind of a walk, a mind walk. What do they call it? The Indians do. It's been a long time since I've read this, so I'm like going off of memory. So anyway, he like sees the origin of It, the monster, when it arrived on Earth, and it arrived like back in like prehistoric, before the dinosaurs kind of days. It's like an ancient, kind of a old ancient one, like a Cthulhu type thing, like an old god or something. And it came from like outside of our reality or something like that, I think. Which that makes a lot of sense with the Dark Tower, because the Dark Tower has all these multiple realities that are all on different beams. They all have different guardian animals, and there's a thing about the turtle that's a connection to the Dark Tower. Like they don't even explain that, because the Dark Tower hadn't even been written yet, I don't think, when It had been released. I think maybe the Gunslinger had, but the thing about Gan the turtle or whatever his name was, they hadn't really talked about that or explained it. And then there's this whole thing about the group of kids. Like there's this thing at the end of it. It's really where I wanted to read a book, because everybody was talking about this weird like group sex scene with these kids. Like they all have to fuck this girl that they're all friends with to get out of the tunnels that they're all trapped in, because they get lost. And like when they come together and they all like give up their inhibitions or whatever to each other, or like they like become actualized, sort of like they form a quartet, which is part of the Dark Tower series. They don't say it's a quartet, but it's a quartet. It's also the same thing in like some other stories I think Stephen King wrote, or like the Goonies. When those kids come together, they all like they're stronger when they become a group. And the more like that one kid, Stanley Uris, he like killed himself when they became older. It weakened the quartet because he wasn't part of the group. And it's like the thing with the Dark Tower is like you got these groups of people that are brought together by fate or destiny. That's kind of what the Ka is, like destiny, and a quartet is a group of people brought together by destiny and stuff. So that's the other layer. You got the monster layer, and then you've got the Dark Tower layer. And then my favorite part of the layer is just like it's most of the book is not really about It and the monster as much as it's just a story, like a coming of age tale. It's a story about a group of kids in the summer after school lets out. And it's kind of like Stand By Me, or one of those kind of stories where it's like a bunch of kids just being kids, and like they're being bullied. There's just one kid who like he's bullying the fat kid, Ben Hanscom, and he's like carving his initials into his belly with his knife and shit, and like leaving his name there. Like that's so fucked up. I would have had to kill that guy. But like they just kind of put up with it, and they use each other to like get through their problems, and they have all these things happen to them, and the whole world, the town, Derry, that they live in. It's like Mario Brothers. There's so many like pipes and sewage systems and water connections that all kind of flow through the town, which kind of lets this monster kind of use it as a root going through like a pipe system, like a tree. You know how a root will grow into a pipe? And he kind of infects the town, and he makes everybody like overlook his existence. Like throughout the past, you'll see like old photos where it was there. This clown was like in the town, causing people to do really bad things and killing each other and committing these crazy acts of violence. But nobody even attributed it to him or kind of knew he was there. He's kind of like an angler fish. Have you seen one of those old deep ocean fish that's got the little thing that comes out with the little light on the end? The clown is like the light at the end of the anglerfish antenna, and he kind of lures kids in. Or he... The thing about the deadlights, though, the deadlights are, what I think they are, is like a way to stun your prey. And it does this by showing it, like if you're like a Christian or whatever, you believe reality is reality and there's a God and everything has this order to it in it, and you show them like the actual world outside of our reality. That's what the deadlights are, and then you're so fascinated and like stunned by its existence that you can't move because it's just too much for the human mind to accept or something like that. And you get in, like the deeper you look into the deadlights, the farther you kind of get sucked into that other world, and your mind kind of starts to escape this world or something. So you have to like, I don't know like how long you can stare at them before you get just crazy or whatever. But there was a lot of cool scenes. Like there's this one bully that he got trapped in a refrigerator with some bees or something like that. Beverly released some bees on him or something. That was pretty cool. Her dad was like really abusive. I think the black kid was being bullied for being black. There's like racial stuff in it. Henry Bowers is like this crazy... That's the kid who was like carving this name into the fat kid. He's like always chasing all of them though. And then in the movies, in the movie there's like two different movies. Like there's one where there's kids and there's one where they're adults. And then when they become adults, they all kind of, the farther away they get from the town, they forget that it even existed, and they forgot their whole like childhood pretty much. And then when they came back together, they all started like remembering shit, and they all met up at this Chinese restaurant and had all these weird things happen to them there. It's really dope. The movies, I could talk about who I didn't like as actors playing the different parts, but I don't guess it really matters. But there's so much happening. It's like you get your value out of this book because it's so thick. If you like reading like coming of age tales about kids stories, you're probably getting probably about that much of it is like that kind of cool shit, and then there's about this much about it and scary monster shit, and then it's just dope. Just like a really good book. It draws you in. It keeps you like interested. It's almost like it should be like something you're supposed to read in school, but it's not, because it's more like entertainment than it is like a classic literature or something. But I don't know. Everybody should read this. What the fuck was that other book that Stephen King wrote? The Stand. I said The Stand, right? What's the other really long one? Misery, Salem's Lot. I don't know. Shawshank Redemption. Under the Dome. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Forget about some of his books. Alright, I guess that's it. There's probably way more I could say about this book, but I just can't remember, because I gotta start making the book reviews like as soon as I'm done with the book, because I'll start forgetting. Anyway, I'm gonna be making a video here shortly. Also, I'll put it up tomorrow of Duolingo. I've been learning languages, and I'm gonna show you what it's like playing Duolingo. It's like a game, but it's educational.